it before you. Similar experiences. Similar experiences. There's nothing beautiful about it. There's nothing beautiful about it. Some of us have gone on to do some good things in our lives. Had I not told you that I spent 38 years of my life in prison, you would have never known it. I've been home for a little while. I own my own home. I own my own cars. The bank account. The job. All of these things I have because I said you're important enough to have it. And you don't have to steal. You don't have to rob. You don't have to hit people in the head to get it. Yeah, times are going to be hard. You're damn right they're going to be hard. But you don't run in the face of adversity. That's when you build your strength up. That's when you fight. That's when you learn how to weave and bob, as we say. Stick and move. You can do it. If nobody's ever told you in your life that you're valuable, I'm telling you, you're valuable.
Say it again.
If nobody's ever told you that you can make it, I'm telling you, you can make it. Don't give up. Don't give up. Redemption. Redemption. It's about learning and growing. Loving who you are and stepping out on the faith of it. You're great. And I just wanted to share that with you. I wanted to share that with you. I'll give you next.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Well, listen.
First, good evening, everybody. I'm just going to introduce myself quickly. I know we have some kings here that I want to hear from as well. My name is Mysonne. I'm born and raised in the city of Hartford. I'm the president of the Peace Center of Connecticut. I'm also the principal owner of Missouri Motivation LLC, consulting company that travels the country providing leadership development, organizational development, program development for organizations of all walks of life. Again, born and raised right next to you in Sands. So I probably got beat up by some folks. No, I say that because back then we was knuckleheads, right? So we was out here scrapping and bouncing and beating each other up. So my story is definitely not 38 years in. Definitely serves time in Fed, state, local jails. But again, I'm going to talk about redemption in a second. But I'm going to wait for the question and answer period to do that. Just in honor of my brothers. But I'm glad to be here. I'm honored to see y'all here, lifting up the community. I look forward to hearing from y'all too, right?
First and foremost, I want to say this, man. My name is Calvin Klein Baco, born and raised in New York. I've been all over the place, New York, Connecticut, South Carolina, etc. Africa, whatever. But as far as I'm concerned, I've been in jail 20 years of my life. You know what I mean? I got locked up in '83. I came home. I got locked up again in '84. Went upstate, came home in '86. Violated parole in '87. Caught a body in '88. Got acquitted in '89. Caught attempt murder with Jay-Z in '89. Got out on bail for that and stayed home until 1991, until the feds was following me for the whole 18 months. At the end of the day, there's nothing proud about coming from that, but what I'm proud about is where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? I spoke to you guys a few days ago, and I'm happy to be here now, saying amongst some of the kings, like the brother said. But at the end of the day, it's amazing to see somebody come home after 38 years and accomplish all the things that he's accomplished. That being said, there's no excuse. You know what I mean? Nobody has any excuse, none whatsoever, when somebody can come home and be away from society that long and come home and be as relevant as that, as productive as that. I'm blown away. I've done a lot in my life. I managed Akon for 4.5 years. Again, I was associated with Jay-Z, et cetera, et cetera. But I stepped out on my own faith. I wrote a book when I got locked up the last time, I had to look at myself and realize that something was wrong, because jail wasn't a place I wanted to be. You know, I stayed in the, I made my bones back in Rikers Island, you know what I mean? Like every original 50 Cent gave me my name back in the days, and I was running with him on the street store. But when I went to jail, when I went to Rikers Island, when I went to Gladiator Camp, that's when I was a young man that rode across the Rikers Island Bridge. I became a man. And the crazy thing about it is, when I went at 15 years old, when I was supposed to go to Sparkle, but my brother was in Rikers Island, so I wanted to go there. But the crazy thing about it is I was peeing in the bed when I crossed the Rikers Island at 15. That's the crazy thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was, you know what I mean? Like, but I stopped as soon as I crossed that bridge because I became a man. So the crazy thing about it is, it took me to go to Rikers Island to stop peeing in the bed. You know what I mean? And not to say so much that I couldn't be a man on the streets, but that made me a man. But I had to continue to do wrong and keep on going and going and going and going and following my peers and following it. I grew up with a mother and father. I had no excuse, none whatsoever. I can't sit here and say, yo, my grandmother raised me, this person raised me. Nah, my mom and dad raised me. I grew up playing the piano, I grew up playing the keyboard, I grew up playing tennis, I grew up doing all of that. But I grew up in the hood, I grew up in the projects, and following my peers and going out on the dare. That dare didn't allow me to go to the army like I wanted to, but that dare had me go and do things that put me in prison and put me in jail. I've been in the state, I've been in the feds, I've been all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was in Red Book too, yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, but you know, I was nicer than you though. But you know what I mean? But you know, it's hard, you know what I'm saying, trying to get where you need to go, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, when you fall, you get back up. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line. One day, one step at a time. That's all we can do. We can't do no more, no less than that. You know, at one point, I didn't believe in God. I was in jail selling just as much drugs in jail as I was on the streets. You know what I mean? Like, I was running with Boy George when I was in Terry Hut. You know what I mean? And we was making $3,000 a day behind the wall. You know, and I had 25 years at the time. George had life. But the thing that for us was we were still in there hustling. So we lost our freedom on the streets though, but they didn't take the hustle from us. You know what I mean? And that made me kind of like feel a little bit comfortable and feel at ease because I was still doing what I wanted to do. And the sad part about it is I never wanted to sell drugs a day in my life. But I had gotten good at it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like when you get good at something, you get comfortable with it too. You know? And the only time I really stopped is when I came home and I got me a family, a wife and a kid. My wife's a doctor, my kids is in gymnastics, and I travel all over the place with them. You know what I mean? So that's my blessing that, you know, I asked God for help plenty of times. You know what I mean? But God put it in me for me to be able to have what I have as far as my experiences to give to you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we gonna make our mistakes. We gonna do what we gotta do. But at the end of the day, you know, we have to keep on pushing. We have to, man. We can't make no excuses. And my biggest thing is I don't want to take what I have to my grave. You know what I mean? I can't because I have kids that look up to me, and I don't want a young man knocking on my door talking about he's who I used to be. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm not going to take up too much time. If I come back around, then I'll speak more. But, you know what I mean? I'm just happy to be here, glad to be here. You know, once again, you know what I mean? And just keep on doing what we got to do. You know, all our mistakes, you know what I mean? We can't run this era. This is not our era. This era belongs to the youth. This era belongs to them. You know, the best I can tell you to do is what I'm doing. Give them your mistakes, man. Tell them all your mistakes. Tell them every mistake you ever made. You know what I mean? Because that's what they're going to really learn from. They're not going to learn from you preaching to them. They're going to learn from you telling them what to do. They're going to learn from your mistakes. And that's what it's all about. All right? Y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Shout out to the brothers who just spoke. It's always motivational when you hear people who have overcome. Right? It's always motivational when you hear people. When I listen to brothers like that, I remember when I first got locked up in 1999, and and I was sitting in the cell, and I just got sentenced to 7-14. I just had $1 million record deal, and I was sitting there. I was 21 years old with 7 to 14 years, and I just went up north. I went to Sing Sing, and it was an OG. He was a Muslim guy, and he pulled me to the side. And he looked probably is about 30 years old. He looked fit and everything. And I was sitting and I was mad. I was like, yo, I got 7 years. I just had a record deal. And he just took this from me. He said, brother, I've been in prison for the last 20 years. And I got life. And I'm never coming home again. You're supposed to utilize that 7 years that you do to make sure that when you get back out in society that you're productive. Some of us will never have that chance again. And it humbled me. It really humbled me because I was sitting there thinking my life is over, my record deal, and it humbled me. And this is one of the most intelligent brothers I've ever met in my life, and he never came home. And I said to myself, when I get back to society, I have to do it for him. I have to pay it forward for him. I have to put a lot of brothers that's behind that wall that have never come home. So when I hear the story about 38 years and seeing this brother come home and actually materialize and become what he wanted to become, it's inspirational to me because I know brothers like him that'll never get that. So I just want to say thank you for showing them, right? Because they write you off. They believe that they've taken your life from you. They put you in these cells and they believe that they've taken your life from you. They want to have this revolving door. They want you to believe that's all you can be as a prisoner and all you can be as a criminal. And then there's brothers like y'all that come home and show them different. So I want to say thank you, because the brothers would never be able to do that, and y'all proving them wrong. We're not statistics, right? We're not defined by the worst moments of our lives. You're not defined by the worst mistake you ever made. You're defined by how you capitalize after, how you get back up. That's what defines you. They don't give you no number, and they don't give you a jail record, and that defines you. It never defines me. From the minute I went in prison, I said that I'm not adapting to prison.